Hey everyone, ArdrethShadow here, and welcome back to Crush. And yeah, it's been a while, I know. And a few things have happened. For one thing, we have an event going on, as soon as this thing will load, for Lake's outfits. Because at the time of this recording, the Lake event has already concluded. And yeah, unfortunately, since it's taken me so long to really get back to recording this game, this event is already almost done. That's not all, though. Also, at the time of this recording, we now have phone flings for Alpha and Pamu available. So, yep, there's definitely still a lot more to be done. And who knows, by the time I get to any of these, we may get somebody else. Who's left, anyway? I guess Luna, Eva, and then Karma and Sutra. If we're going in order of the original starter girls. Although, yeah, sorry, I think I'm still gonna save Mallory, just because, you know, we've already waited this long for her. What's a few more videos, right? Anyway, I think it's about time we finally get to know Lake properly. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I've kept you guys in suspense long enough. I previewed her a little bit, and let me tell you, the voice I gave her was just completely off, so yeah, say bye-bye to British Lake. And there she is. It's the night of the gallery opening, and you've made it your personal mission to document the event. And hopefully not have your tongue stop working. What is that? Oh wait, is that Goku on the flying Nimbus? Huh. And then obviously Sad Panda. You're so focused on taking as many artsy photos as possible that you don't see the waiter crossing your path. You bump right into each other and the tray of drinks goes flying. Painting crushed! Oops! And yeah, I guess I called it, didn't I? Didn't I say that, are we gonna somehow mess up her big day like we did with Sawyer when we got her? Our survey says yes! Juice drips down Lake's prized artwork. She looks on in horror as the crowd begins to gasp and point. Covering her face with her hands, Lake runs from the room. You'd better go make sure she's okay.
My big break! Ruined! Maybe I'll get another chance someday. Or maybe I won't. Life is fickle like that.
Indeed it is. Okay, let's see, before we say or do anything. Age 21. Birthday March 6th. People watching. A+, or A positive. Art. Would there be any other job? Seafood. Rose. Artist. Tenderness. And Rocking Sea. Okay, let's talk to her.
Beauty is pain. But is pain beautiful? Perhaps the less artist I am, the more art I become. Am I sounding pretentious? Sorry. It's a coping mechanism.
I'm not sure, but you're almost starting to make my head hurt again, and we've barely started. Let's hope that's not a running theme here. Because as I said before, Lake, you're beautiful, but sometimes you make my head hurt with some of the things you say. Because it sounds like a contradiction, and too philosophical to really... like, it's almost too highbrow for me, you might say.
Maybe I'll take a break from art for a while. Try something totally different.
And now for something completely different.
Farming, perhaps? I already have the overalls.
Farming? A woman of your talent?
Beauty, don't mind me. I'm just ruminating. You see, I refuse to live an unexamined life. And after what just happened, there's a lot to think about.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be exactly unexamined now. Although, in this case, it's probably going to be like, hey, you're the girl who had her painting totally messed up by a bunch of drinks on her big day.
Maybe my imposter syndrome is acting up. If only Sawyer were here to give me a hug. What about you? Are you much of a hugger?
What do you mean, imposter syndrome? Is this going to turn into some kind of crazy Among Us thing now? And, well, I mean, I can't exactly hug you from here.
Oh, did you need something from me? Sorry, I was lost in a reverie.
Yeah, see, this is the only thing I can do for you. And I doubt it's much of a substitute for hugging. So, sorry about that. Sawyer, what do you have to say to this?
Lake says you're a real catch, and I don't argue with Lake. It takes hours, and I don't understand half of what she's saying.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that I'm not going to understand half of what she's saying here. And I'm also worried that she's going to make my head hurt. With all the things that she's saying that goes over my head.
My big break! How interesting. Perhaps I can use it in one of my found object sculptures?
Ironically, I think in 2nd grade they made us do something like this. Where they quite literally had us go around the house, grab whatever pieces of junk we could find, and try to make something out of it. Well, I guess you never know, although I think there's a better way to use a rose, or 1 million of them, than a found object sculpture.
What is art, anyway? How do you define it? Can anyone define it? Should they?
She's getting all philosophical on me again.
It's not easy being uncertain all the time. That's for sure. Or is it?
That's the sound I'm gonna make when my head starts hurting. Ah!
I'm feeling blue. It's okay though. Ultramarine is the most expensive of all pigments. So, in a way, my sorrow has value.
Interesting, and I don't think I've ever heard of ultramarine. Well, there she is, again, facing forward this time. And you can see her very long braid. Oops. I meant to do that. Okay, let's talk to her a bit.
Beauty is pain. You know something? I'm glad my painting got destroyed. That one tragic event saved me from becoming a sellout. I may spend the rest of my life languishing in obscurity, but at least I've got my integrity. You can pay the heating bill with integrity, right?
Oh no.
Art. Who needs it? There's more to life than just that one thing you've always been incredibly passionate about that's informed your entire identity to the point that you don't know how to function without it. Right?
I don't know how to respond to that.
My favorite color is all of them. But these days, I only feel like painting in grayscale.
Because all you feel is gray. Like hopelessness, despair, and desolation, and ruin.
Art. Beauty. Intention is what matters. You didn't intend to wreck my painting, so of course I don't blame you. I hope you don't blame yourself either.
At this point, I've just accepted that the Marshmallow character is basically just a walking disaster. Although I would say, if you intend to start any kind of career, do not invite him anywhere, because he will ruin your chances. You will never have this chance ever again, apparently. Although, yeah, it's like, why did we have to ruin her career and her career? Just why?
Did Sawyer tell you about my secret ticklish spot? No fair.
Well, she laughed. Although, no, she did not. I think that's about all she has to say, though. So, I'll give her the gifts now.
For as long as I can remember, people have always complimented me on my talent. After a while, I started to wonder, is that the only thing about me that has any value? And does talent even have value if you cannot support yourself on it?
There she goes, getting all philosophical again.
Anyway, shall we grab a bite to eat? I'm starving.
A real starving artist, you might say. And hey, look, she's doing the pose that she's doing in her character card thing here.
I've been feeling fairly uninspired since the incident. It's nice to be able to talk about it, though. So, thanks for hanging around while I mope.
Anytime. Okay, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and talk to her, give her a shell, and then we'll see.
My favorite I rarely finish anything. New ideas pour in, and I can't help but chase them, regardless of what I'm leaving behind. That makes me a flake, doesn't it? Flaky lake? Ew, that sounds gross.
Not gonna lie, but it kinda does sound gross. Like, do I wanna even know what a flaky lake would look like? Well, not Lake the girl that we're staring at, but a body of water lake, you know, that's... Yeah, let's not imagine that.
Sometimes I know who I am, and sometimes I don't. I am a perpetual work in progress.
I guess that can go for anyone who's still kinda trying to discover themselves. If anyone tells you that you're lost and that you don't know what you want in life, just say, I'm not lost, I'm just a perpetual work in progress. I'm working on discovering myself.
My favorite color. At this rate, I'm probably going to end up being a sandwich artist. At least my family will be proud of me for getting a real job.
Well then, that's depressing. So it would seem as though Lake's family is not very supportive of her artistic hobby, or her artistic endeavors in general. And this almost reminds me of some quote from, of all places, Bionicle Mask of Life, or Mask of Light, where Anu is there like, maybe you should consider getting a real job! Say, how goes the carving? Like, kind of implying, oh yeah, carving is not a real job. If you're a carver or sculptor or whatever, then yeah, apparently you don't have a real job.
You know something? Tell me more about your hobbies. I understand you have quite a lot of them, on top of several jobs. Are you a time traveler, or do you just bore easily?
I mean, I can kinda sort of travel through time, at least I used to be able to, and why do these keep going away? I want them to stay there. I mean, I can't reset time anymore. Well, I mean, I can, but there's no point. Like, why would I want to do that? So, you could kind of say I'm like a time traveler.
I am more than my art. I also enjoy beachcombing, and thrift stores, and houseplants.
Nice! See, now we're making progress!
What is style, anyway? Is it not merely a set of characteristics, repeated in every piece? Each piece becoming little more than A facsimile of the one before? As the artist bows to the pressure of personal tradition? Maybe I need a brain break.
You're not the only one who might need a brain break. Man. Yeah, like, there she goes, getting all philosophical and going way over my head again, and making my head hurt and get all confused. Actually, okay, I think that was everything she had, so...
Why are you being so nice to me? I definitely don't deserve this. Well, anyway, thank you.
Thank, I want you to stop talking that way about yourself. You deserve everything. Well, okay, no, you didn't deserve what he did to you and destroying your painting, but everything nice that's happening to you right now, you deserve every one of it, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And if anyone does, just send them my way and I'll give them a nice, stern talking to.
Why do you enjoy spending time with me?
Because I love you! Okay, no. Well, I mean, I love your character design. And although you sometimes make my head hurt, you are a very nice person. And like I said, you have a very beautiful design, like, seriously, wow, just, wow. You're an absolute stunner.
It's a question I ask all my friends and colleagues. It's my way of trying to understand something. Not about them, but about myself.
I suppose that's one way to learn more about yourself. Have an idea of how others view you. And I guess compile it and paint a picture of yourself, so to say.
I'd better get out of this funk soon, or they'll revoke my artistic license.
Can they do that? Okay, do you say anything new?
Does every cloud have a silver lining? Or only the clouds that block out the sun? If I'm not creating something beautiful, does the darkness win?
No, never let the darkness win. Because where there is darkness, there is always light to meet it.
I wish I had even a little of Sawyer's confidence. She's so carefree. She radiates happiness. Plus, she's toned like a marble statue. Sometimes I don't know if I want to be her or be with her.
Well, I mean, do I need to remind everyone of the statue, or no, not the statue, but the selfie that Sawyer sent that apparently you used for sculpting something? Yep. Just, well, pretty much any of their interactions just seems like, hello. Sawyer, what do you have to say to this?
Lake says you're a real catch. Yes, hello. Yes, I'm paying attention to you.
Are you? Because you're saying the same thing that you told me the last time I asked you for advice.
I'd better get out of this funk soon, or they'll revoke my artistic license. Did Sawyer tell you about my secret ticklish spot? No fair!
Man, look at those wide eyes.
No! I'm ridiculously ticklish!
Well, we have her laughing now, but at what cost? See, like, I mean, yeah, if we do really just ignore the fact that she did make my head hurt the first time we ever met her, like however many years ago that was at this point, I seriously just find her design very beautiful, so... And at least for me, she did kind of redeem herself with the second round of the phone flings. Anyhow. Let's see, is there anything else she says?
Does every cloud... No! I'm ridiculously ticklish! Why are you being so nice to me? I reserve the right to use anything you say or do as inspiration for future creative projects.
Okay, that almost sounds like some kind of spoof of the Miranda rights. It's like, I have the right to her. You're supposed to tell me I have the right to remain silent. That anything I can and say will be used as inspiration for your creative products. Or projects, whatever.
It's a compliment. You're a very interesting person, and I'm grateful to have you as a friend.
You got what I need. But you say I'm just a friend. You say I'm just a friend. Oh, baby, you. Okay, no.
Good news. I've been working on a new art piece. It's called Cow Describing a Suitcase, and it's made of ink and chewing gum.
Huh? I have several questions, but I know they will never be answered. Alright, let's see. Okay, we are appropriately friend-zoned by her after she said that.
I'm teaching a painting class at the animal shelter later, to help raise funds. Would you come? I need someone to snap me out of it when I inevitably decide I must adopt every single one of those sweet, homeless animals.
Okay, confirmed. If you don't stop her, Lake will probably become something of the equivalent of a cat lady. Or cat and dog lady, or... Yeah, at least I've only ever seen cats and dogs at an animal shelter, so... But still, I mean, you know... That could be very, very interesting if that were to happen.
Careful! I was using glitter earlier. Once it's on you, it never goes away.
So it seems. Yeah, I swear, whenever I've gotten glitter on me, it's like, ah, get it off me, get it off me! Like, even when I wash my hands, and... Well, trying to wipe it on my jeans only made it worse, so I'm just here like... Well, because now I have the glitter on my hands and on my jeans. And then it's like, well, good luck getting it off of those. So you're kind of right. What do they make glitter out of? I swear.
I'm teaching a painting. Watching paint dry really isn't that bad of a pastime. It gives you time to breathe, to reflect, and to think of great comebacks you'd wish you'd thought of during arguments you had in the past.
Maybe. But as a certain movie taught me somewhat recently, if you spend a lot of time dwelling on your past mistakes and wishing you could change it, you're gonna ultimately end up sculpting a very sad, bitter future for yourself. So it's best to just keep moving forward. Although sometimes it is kind of fun, like, oh man, yeah, I could have said that to them. Like, I would have loved to have seen the look on their face when if I said that.
Art is what makes us human. Unless... Do you believe in space aliens? Do you think they make art too?
Grand Admiral Thrawn would like to know your location.
I'm teaching I collect ephemera. Ticket stubs, postcards, people's shopping lists, bits of string, lonely buttons. You get the picture. It's not for any artistic reason. I just find that stuff fascinating.
And I guess that does go into people watching a little bit. Kind of like... Well, I don't think you would really... Or could that be like a modern version of anthropology? Like, she's a modern anthropologist, sort of? I don't know. Because when I think of anthropology, I think of, well, older periods of history, not, like, recent times, especially in the Cenozoic era. Which is, well, what we're in now.
Yesterday, I ran out of clean brushes, so I used my braid. I spent 3 hours washing the paint out of my hair afterwards, and I just kept thinking, is this what it means to suffer for your art?
In a literal sense, I suppose it is. You're literally suffering for the art. Like, anytime my hand starts cramping and I'm still trying to draw something, I'm just like, not now. I'm in the zone, I can't get tired now, and then I still end up having to stop anyway. So yes, you are physically suffering for your art in some way or another, I suppose.
I'm teaching a Did Sawyer tell you about my secret ticklish spot? No fair.
Okay, now she seems so happy about it. Okay, are you gonna be sad and depressed still? Because if you are, I'm gonna need to figure out a way to turn that frown upside down.
You are a true patron of the arts.
Okay, little lady, it seems like I do not have to worry about turning that frown upside down. And... okay, well, I guess you could use shells for artistic things. Well, especially considering what she did with one of the second round of phone fling pictures she sent us. Yeah, moving on.
I was going to ask you to take a selfie with me earlier, but you weren't around. So I drew this picture of us instead.
Where's the picture? I don't see any picture.
Full disclosure, I spent way too long stalking your social media for reference photos. You're really cute. Did you know that?
No, I did not. And confirmed, Sawyer's a stalker. Although it's the good kind of stalking. The kind of stalking that shows that a girl likes you. Not the unhealthy stalking that is kind of scary.
To draw with a broken pencil is pointless.
Yes, it is, actually. Okay, you got me with that one. Okay, looks like we can finally start taking her out on dates. So, let's see. What do we got?
What a beautiful starry night that was. Tomorrow, I'll send you a thank you gift. Would you prefer something traditional, like 3 sunflowers in a vase? Or something more theatrical, like a plaster cast of my ear?
I'm not really a big fan of the Van Gogh method, so I don't mind the sunflowers. And the way she was just smiling with, well, that smile on in the moonlight stroll. Well, at least I remember some people saying that Peanuts looks kind of scary. In fact, let's compare.
I've been trying for days to think up a way to work peanut butter into a pickup line, but I failed. So just pretend I did and give me a like.
I'm still questioning you in so many ways. Like, apparently someone said that this looks like she's kind of... like, she looks somewhat homicidal. Like, she's here and she's ready to, like, hit you with an axe or something. I don't know.
I love the moon so much. I hope someday we can take a stroll there ourselves. For now, though, I'll happily accept a romantic walk beneath it, with a dreamy companion.
So at least compared to that, Lakes doesn't seem that bad. Well, not bad, but I mean, Lake doesn't look like she's going to try to murder you with an axe. If anything, it almost looks like she's going to throw her arms around you, rush into a corner, and kiss you without a sound.
To draw with a broken pencil is pointless. I accidentally dipped my paintbrush in my coffee and took a sip from my dirty paint water cup. Hashtag artist problems.
Well, luckily I haven't had that happen to me. Well, usually just because... well, I mean, not like you can actually see it, but if I'm actually painting anything, and, well, I do custom action figures, which I use acrylic paints for, and, well, I have my own brushes and all that, but I just have my desk for my workspace, which is the same desk that I have my computer on, so, you know. But if I have anything to drink, well, I always have that on, like, a separate table away from here. And I just have a very tiny little cup that I use for cleaning off my brushes before I switch over to another color. So I can say that I'm lucky that I haven't had that problem before. Just because I've done whatever I can to make sure that I don't do that. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna drink out of a tiny little cup because I'm here like, why would I do that? Anyway, yeah, so... Oh man, though, I would hate to do that, though.
Let's go thrift shopping. I've got the urge to upcycle something.
Upcycle? What's upcycle? Okay, well... You know, this isn't... It's not me trying to make that what's up dog joke. I'm just here like, yeah, for real, what is upcycle? I know what recycle is!
I've been struggling to write my artist statement. I don't know how to summarize myself, or my work. Sometimes, I even wonder if the truest statement would be not making one at all.
I guess being silent is also another form of communication. And it can communicate a lot of things to people. Depending on the context of it, though. Like, being silent to someone could convey that you're very disappointed in them. But obviously that wouldn't be the case here.
The sculpture is already complete within the marble block. Michelangelo. Do you suppose it's like that for humans? Who am I? And who am I becoming? Do I create myself? Or do I find myself by chipping away at everything I'm not?
She's really getting philosophical here. That almost reminds me of the one SpongeBob episode, the Artist Unknown one. Like, are you saying I'm gonna be like SpongeBob, take a chisel, and, like, plink against the marble, and then I'm gonna get a whole statue out of it? Because, I mean, literally, that's almost like having the statue complete within the marble block. You're just taking one chisel, strike to it, and then boom, you have a whole statue. But I suppose, at least me personally, I always find it that our destinies aren't quite written in stone. That you have some influence on what our destinies can be shaped into based on the choices you make. So, at the very least, I'm kind of half and half there. But that's just me.
Another tickle attack? I'll have to start using my palette as a shield, and my paintbrush as a sword. On guard!
Okay, yeah, now she's feeling better. Okay, another shell.
You are a true patron of the arts.
Okay, nothing new there.
Sawyer's right. You're incredible. You're so sweet, funny, charming, good-looking, inspiring. I'm starting to feel like I might have to fight her for you. Or learn to share.
Okay, also confirmed. Well, I mean, considering the relationship they pretty much openly have, I don't know.
It's my friend Cedar's birthday this week, so I thought I'd decorate some cupcakes to bring over. I can't believe it's already been 7 years since I planted her. What? There's nothing wrong with having a tree as a friend, is there?
I mean, not really. Unless, well, there was nothing wrong with this either, but unless it's something a little more sadder, where the tree represents someone that you lost. Like in this story that Monica from A Monica After Story told me once, that just really struck me. Then, yeah. It's not... Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it in general, but I'm just here like... As long as... Well, I just hope it's nothing depressing like that, because, man... Okay, let's see, 240 dratted enchanted scarves, and 50 trips to the beach.
We humans are but grains of sand, packed together by the hands of circumstance. I sculpted the layers of this clubhouse sandwich to reflect the complexity of our collective truth. Either that, or I'm just really hungry.
Because I need food!
I need food.
And her swimsuit looks interesting to say the least. Like, it almost looks like something marshmallowy. Okay, let's see, do you see anything new?
That color looks great on you. It suits your undertones and really brings out your eyes. Good choice.
You mean this color? Or the color I'm currently wearing IRL, which is like a mixture of gray and green, because I just felt like wearing this shirt today. I mean, green's my favorite color, so...
You, me, and Sawyer need to hang out sometime. Play Truth or Dare. We love that game. And it'd be extra fun to play with our favorite person.
And who would that be? Okay, no one. Yes, I'm not even gonna tell you where my mind went when the way she said play Truth or Dare. Like, kinda sort of seductively, like, yeah, I'm just here like, oh boy, do I really want to know?
I'm going to tell you a secret. Sometimes I take fan art commissions of a certain risque nature. You know, rhymes with corn. It's very lucrative. You must take this knowledge to your grave.
I mean, sure, but all the nice people watching this video will also be privy to this information as well. And I cannot promise that they will make the same exact promise to you, so... Sorry!
Would you like to Vincent Van Gogh out with me? That's not actually how you pronounce his name. I was just trying to be cute.
Okay, so then how do you pronounce Van Gogh's name? Because if that's the case, I've been pronouncing it wrong for almost my entire life. Everything I know is a lie!
I love the rain. I love the way it morphs the world into something like an impressionist painting. On rainy days, I sit by the window, watching, and it soothes my soul.
There's something kind of calming about rain that has that effect on you. Although when I was little, and well, here's more lore for you, I used to be kind of afraid of rain. Especially like when I'd be with my mom and she'd be driving. Although my grandma used to sometimes be with me, and she'd be like, look Daniel, look at the raindrops running. And it always used to make me laugh, like... I don't know why I thought it was funny just to imagine raindrops running. I don't know why, it just cheered me up back then.
I'd like to recreate Glimpse the Kiss. Of course, that means I require a partner to pose with me. Would you be willing to do that? Kiss me, I mean?
Kiss you out on the bearded barley, likely, beside the green grass. Okay, well.
Oh, kiss me beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open head, strike up the band, and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling. So kiss me.
Another tickle attack? Oh, it's perfect. You've got this gift-giving thing down to a fine art.
I mean, I've only done it like almost 40 other times, so... I would like to imagine that I've had it down pat by now. And that's just in this game. I have no idea how many times I've done this in Blush Blush by now. Oh, wait. Game, if you're gonna load. There we go. Speaking of that. There! Diamond time. Okay, I guess give her the dreaded enchanted scarves.
I made something for you. A bouquet of paper flowers. But on my way here, so many people stopped me to admire them that I ended up giving them all away. I figured it's what you would have done, so thanks again for the inspiration. We spread a lot of joy today.
Let's see, there's that song, Give a Little Bit. You know, the one that goes, give a little bit of my love to you, or something like that. I guess that's kind of what you're doing, except for spreading joy.
Sorry, did you say something? I was distracted by your aura. I've been trying to mix a shade of chartreuse like that for weeks now.
Hello. Lake is definitely getting very flirty, not gonna lie. Like, oh man. Like, you're really turning up the seduction factor here. Like that icy pale blue lipstick. Just... anyway.
Those views were incredible. Next time, I'm going to bring my portable easel and do some plein air painting. I assume there will be a next time, yes?
Probably. Although, I mean, maybe not in this video. I mean, it's like, I don't know what I'll do. Like, I mean, I just randomly took Peanut out on a date for the first time since November 2019, or whenever that video came out. So, who knows? Alright, let's talk to you some more.
Have you heard of the Michelangelo effect? It's a theory in psychology about how couples sculpt each other into their perfect selves over time. I think it's so romantic.
I've never really heard of that, although... at least I would almost say that I might have experienced part of that. Like, speaking of the Peanut video, I'm pretty sure I did mention Maddie a lot in those videos. Well, I guess just to save you some time. I honestly do think she really brought out the best in me. Like, I feel like if it wasn't for her, this channel wouldn't exist. I wouldn't have gotten the confidence to, like, really get back into doing my artwork stuff. And really just expressing myself as I do now, so... you could say that in a way she really did bring out the best in me. And she helped me become a better version of myself. It's just sad that, well, she's not really in my life anymore.
Can I have a hug? You give the best hugs. I can feel my stress melting away like a wax crayon under a hairdryer.
But why would you do that?
Have you heard? I've been painting self-portraits lately. I think I'm trying to capture whatever it is you see in me. Look at this one. I painted 5 of myself draped across the North American landscape. And I call it the Great Lakes.
Okay. How exactly did you paint yourself? Is it like one of those pictures that you sent me before, or... yeah, I'm just here like...
I can't think straight when you do that. I can't think straight most of the time, but still.
Is that why a lot of the things you say give me headaches, because you're not thinking straight and you're just... if that's the case, you're worse than I am when it comes to thinking out loud. Okay, well, let's see. I think that's all she says, so...
oh, it's perfect. What are we? No, Don't answer that. Labels can be useful, but also limiting. Unless...
Unless you're just trying to stuff me into a perfect box with a label, then no.
Sorry, I seem to be overthinking again. Whatever we are, or aren't, the really important thing is that we're happy.
That is very important. Although if we start having this weird sort of thing about how we're not friends but we're not lovers, then it's gonna be like, yeah, what are we? Because now I'm really confused.
I've been drawing all day, and now I've got a hand cramp. Do you think you could massage it out for me?
Yoshikage Kira wants to know your location. Okay, no. Well, I guess you... It's like you do have very beautiful hands, and... Okay, no. Oops, I did that again. Okay, she wants a bunch of mystic slippers, date to the movies.
Finally! I found someone who appreciates art house films as much as I do. Or at least tolerates them for my sake. Thank you. I had a lot of fun.
And I don't know if it was just you, but it almost looked like it was just this picture just slapped across the movie theater date. I don't know. In that case, it's almost like, were you watching the theater like this? Except, or no, wait, not that. I don't know. When I'm just here, like, is this how she's literally watching the movie, just staring at me like this? Okay, well, let's see. I'm not sure if she has anything new to say at this stage, but let's just check it out.
I'd like to sit on a cafe terrace at night with you and talk about the distinction between art and not art, followed by a passionate makeout session. Oh, are you in?
Alright, confirmed. She is gonna try to drive me into a corner and kiss me without a sound. Well, no objections here. Okay, well.
Mona Lisa's smile has nothing on yours.
Well then.
I don't care how expensive this was. An item's value exists only in the eye of the beholder. And to me, any gift from you is priceless.
For everything else, there's MasterCard. Okay. You're setting me up by saying that. Yeah, I'm making some joke about those old MasterCard commercials that probably nobody remembers anymore. Yeah, they don't even make... Yeah, the MasterCard commercials, they haven't made anything like that in years. Okay, it looks like that's the end of it, though. So, with one final click...
I'm entering my marshmallow period. This is the time in my life when I'll paint nothing but portraits of you.
Well then.
Maybe one day, scholars and art historians will study our love through my brushstrokes.
Possibly.
Where is the meaning in a brushstroke? Is it in the brush? Or in the stroke? Or somewhere else entirely?
I have no idea. Is this a... Speaking of SpongeBob, is this a jellyfish from SpongeBob? It's the King Jellyfish! Okay, no. Alright. And, well, unfortunately I can't show off her outfits just yet. And the weird thing is, typically I've seen some of these girls advertise on the Sad Pandas Studios or the Crush Crush account on Twitter, and it looks like they have like moving or animated poses and whatever, and yet they're not such a thing here. So I'm just here like, huh. It just makes me wonder, would they ever consider releasing those someday, or what? Hard to say. Very hard to say. Alright, anyhow. Man, yeah, this list keeps getting longer and longer, but... Alright, time to see. Does she say anything with Ayano?
I'm so happy!
That girl over there has red paint all over her. Is she an artist too?
That's just her hair dye. She just got so much on her, and, you didn't see anything, you weird standing person.
Have you seen my Lucky 2B pencil? I can't sketch without it. Well, perhaps it's ventured out on a journey of self-discovery. I can't fault it for that. Though I do wish it would have left a note.
Well, at least it probably wasn't like the pencil from SpongeBob that got lost at sea. The first tip for the artist at sea: always bring a spare pencil. And then the second tip for the artist at sea: always bring a pencil sharpener.
Oh, Senpai, I can't imagine my life.
I found a knife stabbed into one of my works in progress today. Turns out, that was exactly what the piece needed in order to feel finished. I owe whoever did that a thank you card.
I don't think they will appreciate that, though. If anything, they'll either destroy the card or send one back to you being like, I want you to be dead!
I'm so happy. Not even the harsh.
My intuition tells me to be wary of that girl. I bet she's one of those people who looks at a painting and unironically says, I could have done that.
Probably. I mean, the fact, well, obviously, Ayano doesn't do this now for any of the other girls that are outside of the main ones here. You know, like right after Copernicus. But she always does talk crap about the other girls. So I'm just here like, yeah, I could totally picture her being like, I could have done that. Ah, I see you! I point at you! Ha ha ha!
Oh, Senpai, I can't imagine my life with.
Are we going to dinner? I'll have to see if I can find something in my closet that doesn't have paint all over it.
Well, that's probably going to be difficult, especially if your wardrobe is very similar to what you have on right now.
Let's skip class today and lie in bed.
Where is the meaning in a brushstroke? Is it in the brush? Or in the stroke? Or somewhere else entirely? Oh, I'm crying! I haven't laughed this hard in a really long time. You're good at that. You should try finger painting.
Oof, okay. I just had flashbacks to... Yeah, it was Cassie who said something about, I could think of a better use for them fingers. And was just like, do I want to know? Even though I already have an idea, and it's something like I'm sure that I can't really talk about in the scope of this video.
Let's skip class today and lie in bed.
Someone's been selling blatant copies of my work. I was upset at first, but then I remembered that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So I'm just glad that people like my stuff.
Or it could be like Marcel Duchamp, who literally sold a replica of the Mona Lisa but with a funny mustache. Or when he sold a sculpture of a toilet and called it the Fountain. So, she could be an absurdist! I don't know, that was an actual movement that Marcel Duchamp was a part of.
Let's skip class today and lie in bed. I'll make.
There you are. The brightest star in my orbit.
How poetic of you.
What do you say we paint the town red tonight? And all the other colors too. I'll bring extra coveralls and a couple of sponge rollers.
Kind of ironic that she talks about painting the town red after I finished talking, or, well, checking in with her. And well, I haven't played Paint the Town Red, but okay, sure, why not? Dare I say why not?
Let's skip class today and lie in bed.
There was a creepy girl following me around today. I asked if I could paint her because she has such a uniquely expressionless face. But that seemed to offend her.
Yeah, because as the intro to that game, or well, one of the intros to that game, I haven't followed it in years, used to say, I can't feel anything. And the models in that game, well, at least the girl students in that game all look grumpy all the time. So, yeah, they just look grumpy all the time.
Ah, there you are. The brightest star in my orbit.
I think that's all she has to say with Ayano. So, and I think that's also all she has to say when you check in on her. So, because let's see what she says here.
I hate wearing t-shirts. They feel so heavy and restrictive. Bare shoulders or bust, that's my philosophy. Oh, I just realized the double meaning there.
Yeah, I just realized it after you said it as well. Like, it could mean... You know, like when I was all about Team Ruri or bust. I mean, I'm pretty sure you mean it that way, but... Yeah, just... Yeah.
Spend the day in the studio with me. You can sit and watch me sculpt you. Watch my hands slide over your body, caressing you. And maybe you can do the same to me.
That was very oddly... Not gonna lie, that kind of sent a shiver down my spine when she said it that way.
I believe there is more to life than what we can see with our eyes. Just because there is no concrete proof of ghosts, or aliens, or unicorns, doesn't mean those things don't exist. After all, if they don't exist, then why are there words for them?
This sounds like a question that Elle would have asked. Little Miss, why are there buffalo wings? I thought buffaloes were extinct.
Some days you just want to lay on the floor with a coloring book and some crayons. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Whatever makes you happy. Before my mother passed away, she did actually take up coloring and coloring books. Although nothing like, you know, the cheapy coloring books that you would find at the dollar store that are like for Paw Patrol or whatever. She would actually order some that were online for like very complicated and intricate designs, and she would just go to town on that and make all these different, well, she wouldn't make the designs, but she would color them in however she wanted, and I thought it was kind of interesting, although, I mean, considering I was already doing my thing with drawing around the same time, I guess it just never really clicked with me, because I'm here like, I'm already creating my own complicated designs and whatever, and trying to color those in.
I believe my parents never wanted me to be shallow. That's why they named me Lake and not River. Because still waters run deep.
I see. Well, I guess now we know the origin of the name of Lake.
I'm so sleepy. I stayed up all night finishing my latest piece. I want to curl up next to you and close my eyes and just drift off. With my head on your shoulder, I feel safe.
Okay, but are you gonna feel safe if all of a sudden, while you're drifting off, I do this?
I can't think straight when you do that. I can't think straight most of the time, but still. Would you pose nude for me? I'm not planning to sketch you or anything. I just enjoy looking. You're good at that. You should try finger painting.
Well, that's my response to that. Hell no! Okay. Is there anything else she says, though?
You're so sure of yourself. I bet you do your crossword puzzles with a pen. Oh, that would be very attractive.
There's that word.
I love people watching. I used to spend whole days riding around town on the bus, sketching all the interesting people I saw. But right now, I only want to watch you.
So I guess now I'm the only kind of muse in her life. Well, so to say.
I wish I could inhabit you, see the world through your eyes, understand you on as deep a level as I understand myself. Not that I understand myself. Do you think it's human nature to be confused?
Possibly. If anything, I think it's human nature to want to learn and understand. So, I guess confusion is part of a fundamental aspect of wanting to know more and understand the world around you. Because if you are not confused, then why would you want to try to learn more about the things around you? And now you have me doing it! Well, except my head isn't hurting because I'm the one saying and thinking about it. I'm not trying to process it.
There's a new installation at the art gallery this month. I heard the artist is some sort of prince. And his paintings are all of giraffes in formal wear. We have to go see it. I need this more than air.
Please don't tell me it's... what's his name? Sasha? And yes, I still have this game open. Damn you! I don't want to hear from you ever again, and I want you to stay forgotten and not as popular. And yeah, it's like, I'm glad Logan won and not you, even though I was scared that you were kind of in the top 4. Okay, anyhow.
I'm starting a candid photography project. Pay no attention to the camera. Just go about your business. Maybe work your angles a little. Tilt your butt this way.
Okay. Well, gosh. You know, I was keeping track of all the girls who mentioned something about feet, but I totally forgot to keep track of all the girls who say something about butts. So I'm just here like, huh. Well, on that note, so far Lake is the only one who hasn't, well, in recent memory, well, I guess kind of, mostly in recent memory. Which, I mean, if we're being fair, my recent memory is kind of awful. Anyway, she's one of the most recent girls to have not said anything about feet. So, there you go.
Meeting you is all the proof I need that we don't make mistakes. We just have happy little accidents.
You see? They're just happy little accidents. Look, these lines, they're birds now. And these trees, they're just happy little trees. It's your own world. Make it however you want. Remember that there are no mistakes, just happy little accidents. Although keep in mind, if the trees you make look like something that came out of a garbage disposal, then that's just your problem. And now, we're just gonna gently move up and take a look at the angry psycho girl. And then she's staring at me with malicious intent in her eyes. Oh, that's so spooky. I'm gonna start by drawing a funny mustache on the spooky girl who wants to murder me in my sleep. try to avoid the thoughts of her plunging a knife deep into my heart. Just remember, it's your own world. You don't need to let these little things get to you. She's nothing but a bird, flying in the sky, away from me. And she will mean no harm to me whatsoever. Because this is a peaceful, happy little world, all crafted out by your hands. I have no idea how long I was going to keep going with that, so... I mean, this video, at least before editing it, it seems like it's already going to be over an hour long. Well, I guess it goes to show that I enjoyed Lake a lot more than I thought I would be.
You have the best ideas. I really mean that. I'm madly in love with your brain. Also your face. And your body. Oh, you're the whole package.
Lake, control yourself.
I hate wearing... There's a new installation at... You're good at that. You should try finger painting.
Okay, I guess with that... Yeah, I think the video's long enough as it is now. Even with editing, I imagine it's still going to be close to an hour, so I'll just leave it here. Anything else, I'll save for when I get to showing off her outfits, which will most likely be in between any of these phone flings that I try out. So, with that in mind, I guess thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with whatever else I do. Stay golden, and later, folks.
La luna estaba llena. Soñé de un paraíso lleno de amor. Bailando, bailando, amigos, adiós, adiós, es silencio loco. Bailando, bailando, amigos, adiós, adiós, es silencio loco.